Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode. Today we are going to talk about our perfect armor, the barrier that protects us from outside world, but focusing on what happens when the armor breaks and can repair itself. I'm Jose Manuel.
Hi, I'm Ivana, and yes, today we're diving deep into biotechnology and the engineering behind the skin healing.
Hello everyone, I'm Valeria. Today we bring you a fascinating story that goes from traditional band-aids to smart hydrogels and 3D tissue printing. Let's get started. To start, think of the skin as a magical shield. When we get a cut, the body triggers an emergency signaling cascade. This is where the unsung heroes come in, endogenous growth factors, which are protein that cells multiply and close this wound.
Exactly, Vale. The problem is that historically we have helped this process in very rudimentary ways. From the traditional first aid kit, we pull out dry gauzes or creams that, let's be honest, have their limits. Dry dressing sticks, hard when removed, don't retain moisture, and creams barely penetrate the skin.
That's where our first technology alike comes in, hydrogels. Imagine them as a molecular sponge. Wounds need moisture to heal. If they dry out, cells die. The hydrogel maintains the moist environment and protects the area before we introduce more complex things.
And speaking of the complex things, this is where we take the big bang technology leap. We no longer rely only on what the body produces. Now we can manufacture recombinant proteins in the lab. Literally, we custom design growth factors that are perfect VIP passenger to travel inside these hydrogels.
But wait, all this sounds great for a normal wound. What happens when the body loses control? There are patients trapped in a constant cycle of inflammation, like those with diabetic foot ulcers or severe burns. The microenvironment in there is hostile, toxic.
It's a battlefield. In fact, there's a phenomenon called molecular friendly fire. In these chronic wounds, there is an excess of enzymes called proteases. Their normal job is to clear dead tissue, but here they are out of control and destroy everything in their path, including the growth factors the body itself sends or the ones we apply in a cream. They eat the medicine before it can even act.
That's why we had to start hacking biology. We could just throw the protein there in biogenetical we create a bulletproof. The science, we genetically modify these proteins so they are resistant to proteases, so they can survive in such an aggressive environment.
Not just survive, but stay where we need them. We use a molecule track called fusion protein. Basically, we attach an anchor to the protein so that when it reaches the womb, it sticks to the patient's matrix and isn't washed away by fluids. It's pure engineering.
Now you have your armored bee passenger, but you need a vehicle to carry it. We have an incredible menu of nanometric transport. We use lipid systems like transfersomes or synthetic polymer nanoparticles like PLGA to encapsulate this medicine.
And we put those nanovehicles into idle mix or hydrogel. This is where hard chemistry comes in. We combine natural biopolymers like chitosan or hyaluronic acid with synthetic polymers to create a perfect scaffold. This is a three-dimensional network that retains water and releases the medicine little by little.
For people to picture this is real life, let's talk about RHEGF. I know it sounds weird, but it's a recombinant human epidermal growth factor. When you apply this combined system, the hydrogel plus encapsulate protein to a diabetic ulcer, the cells receive a constant protect stimulus. The wound closes extremely fast compared to conventional treatments.
And it gets better. Automatic first aid kits already exist. We're talking about smart delivery. These are next generation hydrogels that literally fills the wound. If they detect the alkaline pH typical of an infection, they change their structure and release the protein. If the wound is healthy, they don't release anything. They respond to a stimuli.
And if that blew your mind, the future is today. We don't just make gels anymore. We are talking about 3D bioprinting. We use these proteins a lot at hydrogels, but as an ointment anymore, rather as bioinks. 3D printers print cellular scaffolds, literally matching the exact shape of the patient's wound.
Totally. And to prove that this worked without using animals, we create a mini skin in the lab. We use organoids and skin on a chip system. There are microfluidic chips the size of a USB drive that simulates the 3D architecture of the skin, complete with blood vessels to test our own proteins react in real time.
Well, already, guys, you have to come back down to earth. Moving from the lab to society isn't a walk in the park. There is a giant biosafety filter. Agencies like FDA or COFEPRIS de Mexico have a huge regulatory challenges to approve this. They demand immunogenicity testing and manufacturing under strict guidelines because we are combining genetics, nanomaterials, and tissues.
It's a long route, yes, but in conclusion, the impact of interventive these 3 areas, bioengineering, material science, and pharmacology, is transforming medicine. We are no longer just covering wounds so they don't get infected. We are giving cells the instruct manuals and the essential scaffolds to regenerate skin from scratch.
That's right, we went from passive band-aids to proactive, smart therapies. Thank you so much to everyone for listening today and diving with us into the fascinating work of advanced dermopharmacy.
See you next episode. Bye.
Until next time.